I will see you next week, but don't go anywhere. We're passing it off to the big desk with Sean and Brendo.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Market Recap Show. What a wild day it was. Wow. Yeah, we just need time to settle down. Check out these markets. We've got Michael Noss coming through today. What a wild week of earnings it was. It was just an absolutely insane bunch of moves today. I actually have gold up on my screen right now. Gold really started to rally here. Just flipped over to the screen. There you go. You're all good. Right there. So I just need to get my phone because I need to log into my Twitter account because there's a few things I want to share with you guys as well. But there's gold right here on the daily chart. Look at this move, guys, over the last couple of days. Boom, 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 and boom. Right back up. Let's put the big chart on right now for the daily chart. And as you can see, look at this. As tech continues to weaken, obviously we're always looking at the dollar as well. But gold, what a move it had here today. Looking at 190, getting back into May highs. That's absolutely insane. Hold on a second. I just got to put this code in my Twitter account here so I can log in because there's a few charts I want to make sure to show you. Hold on, I got to get this going. 409, there it is. Okay, we're now logged in. There it goes anyways. USO today, another one. We are going to go over the market recap now. So thank you for watching. The big one that everyone's going to look at today is the triple Qs. And what a kind of a violent day it was for the Qs. Let's go over quickly over to let's do a 30-minute chart just to see the kind of movement that we had early, then late, then a nice little rally into the close for the triple Qs just at the 50-period moving average here on the 30-minute chart. But again, pretty good action off the open, a whoosh down, did not break the weekly lows on those triple Qs today. So that's obviously pretty good, holding that 14.3, 14.2 area. We know if we get back down to 14,000, that's going to be trouble. And that could come in as early as next week, unfortunately. So we'll wait to see if that comes in again. What I wanted to show you was this. So there is a chart here. I'm just going to get it open right over here. Let's see if we can throw this over on this side. So right here, Brendan brought this up live on the show today, but there we go from July, and they just highlighted this. This is a shout out to whoever's Twitter account this is. But there's the move from the Fed, removes its recession from forecast. You'd think that would be a good thing, but then all the way back down, now you are officially today in that correction territory, being down 10% on the S&P 500, and it didn't even take that long, man. July 31st, all the way back in. That's the market, and it's a nasty one heading back in on that. So something I just wanted to share with you there as well on the NASDAQ. And then here's a little bit of an interesting thing that was off Bespoke here. There are 8 years since 1928, and I retweeted all these, so go find me on X at TraderTV, Sean, that the S&P fell in each August, September, and October. So that was this year. The S&P was down both all three, August, September, well, October we're going to be down. So with a couple more days left, but there it is right now. I mean, unless we somehow rally 10% in the next 3 days, this is going to hold true. So let's go. Only got to come over to the screen here, Fabian, if you can. So this is what we're showing. So nice move to the downside. This has been the day, year to date. We were up before this 19.5% in the S&P 500. We've now given back 10% of that, right? What does that mean for November and the rest of the year? So again, kind of mixed. You know, the last couple times it's happened, we've had an up November, right? So up November is happening 60% of the time, 5 versus 3, 80% of the time, 5 out of 8. 5 out of 8, 67% of the time. And then right there, rest of the year, looking pretty decent. There was an outlier. I mean, you have to go all the way back to 1937, and then again in 1941, where those kind of losses continued. But again, note something special. The market was down already heading in. Then a bad October, November, August through October, leading into a bad November, leading into a bad end of the year. So again, you know, this is just something to say. Maybe the last couple times this has happened, back in 16 as well, you know, we end the rest of the year up 5 points. So there is a possibility that we do get a little bit of a push through forward here into the rest of the year. I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you guys are too. And if we're going to look at the NASDAQ, I know that was the S&P, but just looking at the NASDAQ, because right now, especially this year, we know the NASDAQ has really held fort, a little stronger than the S&P 500, helped by the big names. And the S&P and the NASDAQ, sorry, right now still above its 200 period, looking for some bounce off action. We can get, well, we are going to have Michael Noss on here very soon. And I bet you he's going to talk about this level. And on the SPY, remember it was that 420 level? You're wondering why we talked about that. It had nothing to do with puff, puff, pass. It had to do with the 200 period. That was right there at 420, and we cut through that like butter. We did bounce up a little bit, hit it again at 423. Now there's the movement back down. So of course, as the market held higher, that leveled off a little bit. Wait till this starts to turn down. Look at the 50 period moving average on the S&P 500. It started to turn down way back on, I guess a month ago, September the 20th, we did have a push back down in for the SPY. We did wear our ice cube today, but today really wasn't a good day. The NASDAQ did have a big bump up early and then a fade late. So it was good. There was a lot of opportunities, but I felt like today was the worst. P&L wise, I don't think it was the worst day, but it was a bad day choppiness-wise. I did not like the action in the market. Let's go back over to this screen real quick. What got hit today? TAN. Well, we know why TAN got hit. This should be like maybe, what we got here, 30. Let's just put like a 2-minute chart up on here. So TAN got hit today. We had bad news from who? Enphase. Enphase came with a pretty disastrous report. We talked about that earlier on the show. Although we didn't trade it, I feel like $80 level is kind of where we want to last. And today on that, as I bump this up, let me zoom back out a little bit here. We did have a nice move early, back down to $75 in the pre-market, then the bump up, and there's 80. Wow, my God, Sean, you're wrong on that. We did hit $80. That's another sticky note level that we did not pay attention to. Enphase came into $80 before bumping all the way to 83, and that top was respected on Enphase, $83. I get frustrated a little bit because another play that we had, and we're going to talk about that when we do our earnings, was Amazon shorting that 130, and when I call that chart up, I might just end the show. I do want to make sure that we do have everybody here, so let's do a quick little roll call as we go for the chat, because it's very, very important, and I want to thank everybody. Fridays are a little slower days. You know, Fridays, people want to hang out, the market's done, especially after a frustrating day, but traders stay late. I want to thank everybody, so let's go over to the screen. Hit the like, hit the subscribe ASAP right now. You bought Hess today, okay. Well, we know Hess has that deal. So, wow, Netflix, what's my thoughts? I'll give you those in a minute. Is there alerts on trade ideas? Well, we have Michael Noss coming in just a couple seconds. He'll tell us all about trade ideas. And actually, Michael, nod, you can hear me right now. Will we take some questions from the audience? He is saying yes. So, Bears versus Bulls. And I'm tasking everybody right now in the chat, any valid questions for Michael Noss, either about charting or about trade ideas. Let's get those in. I'll take the 3 best. I'll leave that to you, Bears versus Bulls. No pressure. I'm trying to host this. I can't look at the chat, but the best chats come in here. Let's go over to the screen, Fabian, right now, real quick. I just want to say a hi. What's going on to Ponzi Fonzie? Here's everything. Let's go. He's here every day. And I got caught reading this. Thanks for everything you do. Thanks, Ryan, as well. Richard, he's been here for 3 years. Shout out to you, Richard. Shout out to DS Rodriguez as well. So far, so good. Hi to everybody that's out there as well, as we get ready to have Michael Noss come on. And he's going to ask some questions. That's a great one. This is the Trade Ideas platform that we do have on right now. We also have TraderTV.live. You can roll that. Any product that they have, you can get 25% off. And this has been really cool, man. I'm just going to refresh these. This is like a little scanner that scans for aftermarket movement. Now, today it's not going to be doing anything because, again, it'll still fire off, but there's no earnings today, so we're not going to be using it too much. I really like this little detailed section down here off of Trade Ideas because it does give you a quick it's a snapshot. It gives you a snapshot of everything you need to know, key economic numbers and whatnot. But all right, quickly on the sector recap. What's been up must come down. Look at XLE. We did get out of some of this name. We did talk about that. Me and Michael have gone back and forth about this sort of being high, coming back in, retesting, back up, then the fail on that high, breaking back down in. So XLE continues to get hit. We did talk about trimming some of that. I like the energy space. But again, back to the 200. Watch out for that. USO I thought was strong today though, wasn't it? Yeah. So funny name there. The services, the XLE pulling back in, right? But USO, United States Oil Fund, actually up today. Nice water. Always nice and refreshing here after a long day of trade. Something that I was looking at was utilities getting hit a little bit on the downside here today from that side. You know, again, utilities getting hit, not the right environment for those guys as we worry about, again, rates, where the rates are going, and why really invest in a utility when the dividend used to be something that we really liked, but not something that's overly important. We talked about the S&P 500 hitting correction territory today, now officially down 10% from its peak back in July. That's not great. The NASDAQ composite, though, held higher today. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring in Michael Noss pretty soon. I just want to go over a little bit of earnings. But what we're going to talk about, maybe, I think we're going to talk about this, plus your questions, is sort of the divergence today. We had the NASDAQ up 0.5% or so. We have it up there half, and the SPY down 0.5%. So a couple of different things happening. And here's teaser alert. Amazon is in, you know, a bigger part in one of those indexes than the other. But today we looked at 130 for Amazon. Now again, strong name coming in, good report for them. You can see them up 6.5%, almost 7% today, bouncing off that 130 level. Look at this top right here. Amazon 128.25, bounced around that on a 2-minute chart, some good shorting opportunities, but that 130 was pretty key. Look at the daily chart for Amazon. We wanted 130 shorts, right? That's 130 up into here. Play key levels. It doesn't look great on a chart, actually, 130, but I like the nice round level options. And again, coming into a Friday, you actually had a pretty unique situation with Amazon because they're reporting on Thursday. Coming into Friday, you get a lot of weekly option expiration, probably some 130s firing off there. No wonder why it maybe came back in. 130 put defending. Maybe that's what happened today on Amazon. And then, of course, the other big name was Intel that came through. So Intel came through today. Here's Intel on the daily, Fabian, if we can go back over, please, for that. There's Intel earnings alert. Marker on trade ideas came in. Wow, I know Michael's watching this, but wow, what a bounce off that 200. Like, sometimes it's just so easy. Like, Tesla cuts through it and there's no problem. But again, what's the difference between Tesla cutting through and Intel bouncing? The report. People didn't like the Tesla report. Has a downside move, and then come over here one more time. Here's a 200 period on Tesla right there. It's sure, it danced around it, but now I feel like we use that 217 area as resistance, right, rather than support. We'll use it as support on Intel, and we'll use it as resistance on Tesla. Big level right there, man, 217, 215 coming into play. So, all right, get your questions up there. We already have a little bit there for Michael from Bears vs. Bulls. Get your questions. Here's the chat right now. I know we're a little bit light being on a Friday. Hit the like button. Let's get ready to rock and roll because we just went over a few earnings. So let's just go down. Next topic, it's Trader Talk. Let's bring on Michael. Michael Noss, we're twinning today.
I know, I've noticed. I almost went over in the other room to change.
No, why would you do that, man? This is, we're on, you know, we're Team Trade Ideas, we're Team Trader TV, so we are twinning today, and this is pretty cool. I'm sure our wives would like this, that this is showing up like this. We'll take a screen cap and send it through. But yeah, you messaged me today and want to talk a little bit about the SPY and the triple Qs, and I know you've always got some pretty tasty charts and some things to show us, so I'll pass the mic over to you on this topic.
Yeah, so I'll just quickly go over. So first of all, on my screen, this is something that's not released yet, but it's something that we built at the request of the guys over at Trader TV. We'll be launching to the web version soon. I think Sean will really like it for this after-hour show. It is an entire dashboard based on summarizing what has happened in the sector space. So we've got a big heat map here, shows the sectors that were up on the day and then down on the day. We have a high-low ticker that's just looking at the sectors. And then we have this little area right here showing the SP 500, the Dow, and the Nas. You notice that the S&P and the Dow are down, the NASDAQ is up. But not only the NASDAQ, it's the XLK, which is a technology sector, which is a little bit different from the Qs, actually held on okay. And that's actually without having access to Amazon. So One trade that I took today, but might be interesting to watch into tomorrow is, if I just move this down for a second, is Google. So Google has the anchored VWAP from the major lows that happened in March, came right in at this 120 area today. So as we bounced off of that, I picked up some of that, but a nice little hammer candle here on Google. So if we get a push above that area, maybe we try to fill some of this gap. Might be a good little place for a downtrend, but it was interesting to note, and Sean, you mentioned it earlier. We have financials down. We have
Yep.
everything that is considered generally risk off is down, and everything that considered risk on actually held up with consumer discretionary. We have tech, and then we actually even have China with FXI up. It's a really weird and interesting market that I'm excited to dive into this weekend.
You know what? That's really funny because, yeah, the FXI is a really strange one to me. Like, you know what else that kind of went a little undercover, and I'm sure it's not for you because I know you've been talking about this, and you've brought gold to our attention a little bit with GLD. This move, if you come over to my screen, I'll give you a second to maybe load it up on yours as well, but like, this move from 170, like that touched, Michael, all the way back in March, these bottoms, like that's absolutely unbelievable. And the more I do this show and the more I look at different sectors and talk about risk off, risk on, look at different things, what's happening on the macro side. It's been great having guys like you and Brian on, and then Adrian as well on the crypto side. But like, look at these moves in GLD. That really snuck up on me. I feel like, you know, I'm not invested at all in anything gold. I feel like maybe we missed the boat. Have we missed the boat? Is there more to go? This 190 top is looking pretty good, and I never want to buy tops, but maybe this is a flight to safety as people get considered more and more, I don't know, bearish possibly about what's happening in the Middle East. I don't know, but this move on gold seems to be like a silent one back up to the upside.
Yeah, and I think it all depends on your time frame. We may be a little bit overdone on the shorter term
Okay.
time, but if we go over to my screen, this is why I've been hammering the table pretty much all year
Yep.
on trying to find an entrance in gold. Now, excuse my gross drawing here, but this is actually a monthly chart. If we go really, really far, we are butting up against all-time highs, and we are putting in this massive cup and handle pattern
Little massive.
from a monthly chart. Now, if you actually look at and you measure out, there's measured moves in these technical patterns. You take the width of the pattern and you apply that to price. That puts us up into like the 2500s in an ounce in gold with this massive cup and handle pattern that's going back, you know, I think it started 2012. So, you know, almost a decade long base going on. So I wouldn't bet against it. I wouldn't take a short into these all-time highs, but you're right. Zooming into the daily chart or even the weekly chart, we've made a bit of a move, and it makes me think that we may need to rest a bit. But I am currently long gold, and I'm always looking to get more gold exposure before this break because I think this could be a really wicked investment over a number of months.
Yeah, it does feel like a little bit. I mean, it is well outproducing silver right now as well. So gold does, as I look at the SLV chart, it does look like it's outproducing that one. But wow, back a decade, that's a pretty impressive cup and handle. You even had Fabian being like, "What is up with that?" What a kind of a back and forth earnings season a little bit there. You mentioned picking up some Google there. I actually bought some in my longer term portfolio as well. A very, very common and popular name that a lot of traders want to talk about, of course, is Tesla. Have you had any chance to look at that chart, or maybe we'll work on that next week? Because I'm a little nervous if we lose that 200. We're under the 50-period moving average easily. We're under the 200-period moving average. And Elon hasn't necessarily had very many positive things to say moving forward about Tesla. We got a price increase today in China, but as margins start to slip, I'm a little nervous about that Tesla chart. Any chance I can get 1 minute of a look on that with you?
Yeah, and I have it up on my screen here. I think $200 is the level, and that's the level you have to play against.
Okay.
I think the play on Tesla is pretty simple. If you like it fundamentally, if you like it, the story, or you know, you're addicted to the crazy moves it made, you can see that way back in February and March, this 200 area, give or take, acted as resistance. It acted as support back here in August, and now maybe support back here in November, in geez, we're not in November yet, in October. But I think the play is pretty simple. If we lose 200 and we're under 200, I don't think you can hold on to Tesla until some sort of other technical pattern creates itself. But if you want to take a shot, if you really like it, you can take a shot here with a pretty tight risk. I don't know if I would. I would want to see a bounce first, but I just think you mark 200. If you're above 200, I think you're allowed to be long, and if you're below 200, I think you got to go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just put that into, I put in the longer term portfolio. I added a little bit to that yesterday in and around 205, but I'm the same way. Like, yeah, how far will this market drop? Okay, Michael, you ready for a couple questions here from the audience?
Let me have it.
All right, let's go. Come over to my screen real quickly, and I will start posting them in. Thank you to Bears vs. Bulls. So the first question comes from KC Jones, and this one you're well prepared for, I believe, Mr. Noss. Thoughts, and here's it right here. Thoughts on uranium industry long. Spot price trading below cost since 2018. 20% of America is powered. Or is it a trap here? I'll call up URA on here. Is it a trap? This is the global uranium ETF. It is consolidating right now. I know you've brought this to our attention, and I got to give a big shout out to you as well. You get a bang for this one, because I clearly remember in the summertime, you and I on this very show, we were talking about this break right here of $23. Man, did you nail that one. Huge upside move for uranium. But if we weren't in it then, Michael, can we get in it now?
Well, yeah, so I'm a little bit biased on this because I still own a bunch of uranium from that break. I still think this is the way to go. I think the level on URA is pretty clear, about 25 bucks. I think right now you got to play against that level. Ideally, we get, and this is what I was talking about, I think on Monday, we get and we hold above, I think it's $26, give or take, on the uranium ETF. For momentum traders or trend traders, I think you want to see that clear and hold. But you could play against this $25 area. And again, just kind of like we were talking about with Tesla, if it's above 25, you can own it. I think if it's below 25, you get out. I've been playing this with actually smaller cap names that have been a little bit more fun. You get a little bit more juice out of them. But warning, you do have more risk.
Right.
With UET, for example, I bought some of that on this breakout. Pulling back, I may actually buy some more. But I really do like the long-term play in uranium. If oil is going to continue to move higher, then you're probably going to see countries and economies switching a little bit over to nuclear, and I think that could be a boom for uranium. But clear level there at 25, I think.
I mean, we clearly saw, we get a little bit of a help to your position and your sort of thesis there today when you saw Enphase, some of the solar companies, and we've talked about the TAN ETF basically going in the complete opposite direction, just getting absolutely crushed, and that's another one that you and I have been on since we've started. So great question there. Another one coming in. Come to my screen a little bit one more time here. We'll take one more question after this. This is from Monty G. Monty G is always on our show. I'm going to ask the question a little differently here. Just to see if we can get a little of a different answer. He's saying 3/4 of the stocks follow the overall market while we have the S&P 500. So isn't the overall market dictated by major cap stocks? Well, we've talked about that already. There's been a major pull up in the markets due to the Magnificent Seven. That's not the question. I'm still not done asking it. Back to the screen if you can here. Fabian, back to the screen there, buddy, if we can, 1 second quickly here. What are some things that move the major caps? So we kind of know this, you and I together. We've been in this game a long time. We talked about the DXY. Now, I know what we look at is not the DXY. We look at the UUP on the Trade Ideas platform. But I'm going to ask us a different question in a different way. When you are looking at big cap stocks, right, big cap names, whether or not it be the triple Qs, everything in the NASDAQ, are there other indicators that you look at when considering taking a position in big cap stocks? I think that's the question that Monty's looking at. For me, maybe the dollar. Anything else you can think of?
Yeah, you do want to have the momentum of the market on your side, but without getting existential, so we can move quickly. The question is, what is the market? Are you talking about the Qs? Are you talking about the SPY?
Good question.
These things are cap weighted. You could look at the RSP, which is equal weighted, right? So I don't know how it's what is the market, I guess. For me, it then comes down to the sector. So if I want to buy, just like we were talking about, if I want to buy uranium plays, I want to make sure that that sector with URAs moving higher. If I want to buy Google, I want to see that outperformance in tech. So I wouldn't look at the market as an overall whole. I would say if you're interested in a stock, you want to look at that particular sector. If you want to buy a healthcare stock, look at healthcare. If you want to buy tech stock, then you look at the technology index.
Yep. Okay, that makes perfect sense to me. I mean, I think that also the strength of the dollar. I mean, we've seen there has been some inverse relationships with that as well lately, just because of what's been happening with the bonds, the TLTs, and so on and so forth. So I still try to look at dollar strength and weakness as well. And then there's really been a disconnect as well from the oil markets. I mean, when I was in school, it was always like, okay, well, if oil's going up, then stocks have to go down. That's been changing, of course, with what's been happening. Globally, unfortunately, with some of the different events. And then, of course, with OPEC losing a little bit of strength, I feel like, to push and pull that price, that's been a little bit different. Okay, getting a lot of love in the chat one more time. I want to give you a name that we've never looked at, you and I, and it's going to be Disney, okay? So you can call that up, Mike. I'll put it right here. Yeah, ew, I know. I want to throw up all over my damn self as well. Dan McIsaac has asked that. Dan's a big follower, always watching the show as well. Can we get Michael Noss's opinion right now on DIS? So I'll just call it up on my screen just to give you a second to load it up. But like, yeah, when you said ew, that might be something that's maybe even gentle. If we had a throw up emoji or something like that, I think we do it all over ourselves right now, because it did pop back up into that 50 period around $85, $86. That might have been an out for anybody that was buying these dips in and around $78. But if the trend is your friend, then Disney is someone that you should have broke up with a hell of a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. This has been a downtrend forever. It's putting in a possible descending triangle now, which could mean it's going to break lower. What I will say is I always look at where the stock is in relative to its overall range. It's why generally when I come to you guys, I'm looking for stocks that are high up in the range. The reason I do that is there are people that are long Disney from 200 who want to get out, and from 150 and from 100 and now from 75.
Yep.
So even if you get an up move in Disney, you've got all these people who are just they're bag holders and they're looking to sell. I want to avoid stocks that look like that. I want my investors to be happy. I don't think there's a lot of happy investors in Disney right now.
No, the magical kingdom has not been magical as of late. So that is for sure. You know which stock that I think was a real trap? Enphase. And I'm gonna let you go on that right now, because you just mentioned people getting trapped. Come over to my chart here quickly, Fabian. Look at this on Enphase. I really think, again, it looks a lot like Disney. Everyone's, it's a downside move right there. But look what happened back in mid-October. We had a nice bottom there of 113. I feel like it did bottom out a little bit there. The volume not strong though on that bottoming out, so maybe there's really no capitulation. But then look at this trap. I know there's a lot of traders. It took out this 130 area, which could have been an area of resistance right there, and then boom to the upside. There goes Enphase, right? But no, it gets hit on SEDG, and then today a Solar Edge, that's another one of the competitors. Warning, now today with Enphase earnings, bag holders unite, because downside right there on Enphase. I think that's a perfect example right there, Michael, of people honestly thinking maybe they caught a bottom and then trapped those longs upside there on Enphase. That's a pretty dangerous look there in mid-October.
Well, and gaps, so I'm highlighting on my chart here, gaps will often appear in the direction of the overall trend. When we were trending up, gaps were happening to the upside. Now that we're trending lower, gaps are happening to the downside. This is one of the tenets of technical analysis, and one of the things that we love so much is that when sentiment is good and when everyone's happy and things are in an uptrend, generally speaking, you're going to have more gaps in that direction. And when things are in a downtrend, generally speaking, you're going to have more gaps in that direction. So this is why I'm such a trend trader, and I always want to make sure I'm going with these wins, just because I know there's a bigger chance that if there is some surprise, that surprise happens in the direction of the overall trend.
Michael Noss, thank you so much for coming through today. I thought we had a great back and forth there, great show, and you always bring such high quality. We'll see you on Monday morning again, and we'll talk about some plays. Hopefully, you're going to I mean, it's a weekend and it's Michael Noss, so we're going to be looking at charts. So you're going to come out
Absolutely.
with some plays for us on Monday morning, and you just went over a couple different names there, and I really appreciate that from one trader to another, and to everybody in our chat. Right, this is very important, and I want to thank you for the education, because no matter what happens with the stocks, it's all about looking at price action, making the best guess that you possibly can, an educated one, and that's what you give us every week, multiple times. So, Michael, thank you so much. I want everyone to make sure they can check you out both on Instagram and on X. It's at Michael Noss CMT. Thank you so much. I know you stream all the time. Any special events coming up for yourself that you might want to mention to viewers, or?
No, just every weekend I do a Substack where I record a video, a pretty long one, where we go through the weekly charts of all the sectors, and then we do the individual names that I'm watching into next week. So you can check that out there, just Michael Noss CMT on Substack, and I'll see you Monday for a concise version of what I find.
Have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Go check out Michael Noss. Thank you so much, my friend. That was Trader Talk. Ciao. Oh, wow. Okay. We are getting into something now. I got to go with my kid tonight. 5 nights at Freddy's tonight, debuting here in Toronto. He's been, wanting to go see it. We're in those D-box seats. So those are the ones that move around and everything like that. So he's really pumped up. We got to travel a little bit to go to see that tonight. So that should be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. It's going to be good. Yeah, it's supposed to be a little scary, but it's PG-13 or something, or adult. 14A, that's what it was. And he's just about 12, and I'm going with him, so he's okay with it. He's able to handle all that. The guy plays Valorant and blows people's heads off in that game. So, but yeah, let's go. All right, it should be a good one. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We'll do a little bit of a roll call, so get ready. Whoever's here on chat, I did want to say a big thank you to Bears vs. Bulls, and I want to say a big shout out to everybody that super chatted over I think this might be today or last 2 days. Familia's here, Kyle, Hayes Records, Ian Respetto, Kokenya Bear is here, Maurizio's here, The Bomb, Ahmed, Stock Up, Maurizio again, and Johnny, and there it is. Hey, guess what? We're ending on time. Hallelujah. When has this ever happened before? It never has, but we're not done yet because it's roll call. So, what's up to Tony Price? What's up to John Sproul? What's up to Bebek here? Thank you so much, man. I mean, you guys are legends for watching, so thank you so much. Let's go. It is going to be a happy weekend for sure. Chef Rico, I'm at, first of all, I got a date night tomorrow with my wife, so that's going to be real special. Want to shout out to my parents for watching the kids. We have two practices tomorrow, 2 hockey games, and then another game on Sunday, and then swimming on Sunday night. So, hey man, if you're a father or a parent, shout out and salute to you, because, hey, I do it for the little ones. Build a better future, stronger future. That's what we're doing. And we're going to be looking at some charts. Make sure you join me live here on Monday morning. Well, we'll do this all over again at Trader TV Live. It'll be me, Brendo, Neil. It'll be Fabian. It'll be Ramin. It'll be Adara. It'll be, what's the other guy's name? Oh, yeah, Sharif. Obi as well. I'm just playing around. Back in here at Trader TV Live. So you're now rocking with the best. You found us. Hit like, hit that little bell. Make sure you get the reminder every single time we're live. I'm doing this show here every single day after the market, because traders stay late. And that's why we're bringing you guys like Michael Noss, the best in the business. Talk about whatever you want. And hey, man, we're taking live questions right now on the chat. So thank you so much to everybody as well. I will see you all on Monday, no matter what you're doing. Make sure you have a safe and a good one. Ciao, everybody.